Hey guys, Jonah here. I'm back with another beer review, and it's the last one in this trifecta series of William Brothers, which means it's part of the Scottish box, the Scottish play. No one mentioned Macbeth. Fuck Macbeth. Anyway, there's nothing in the magazine about these guys, and it's taken up basically a third of the box. Oh, sorry, a quarter of the box so far. It is. This is weird as well. It's called Talking Head. I thought it was. I actually genuinely thought that said Taking Head, and it's Talking Head. It's an American pale ale. It's got one of those weird kind of Maori face things, whatever the hell that is, and it is by William Brothers from Alloa in Scotland, Clackmannanshire. Aye, laddie. Let's have a look. So what have we got in there? We got wheat. Oh, no oats in there, which is interesting. Um, it's an American pale. Where's the alcohol? Ah, there we go. It's on that side. 4.4%, 4.5. Not too bad. I'm liking that. And we have some stuff here. It says this extra pale ale is an insertive blend of US hops, aromas of pine, a tomahawk of soft, ripe tropical fruit explodes on the tongue, on the palate, I should say. We have got Mosaic, apparently, Cascade, I love it, and Citra. That is a good combination. I'm liking that. Citra is the most grown hop in the world, still is. And then we've got Cascade, a blast from the past, from like 15 years ago. And Mosaic is also a very well grown hop in the world. So we've got three of the big hops, the biggest grown hops. Interesting. Anyway, let's get it into a glass. We have the old tulip again. Yeah, I like William Brothers. You can get them in the UK. You can get them in most supermarkets. But I went up to Scotland and you can find them everywhere. It's bizarre. You can buy these beers. Maybe not this particular beer, but you can buy William Brother beers in the petrol station, which is ironic because you can't drink and drive in Scotland at all. You're not allowed any alcohol at all, which is absolutely nuts. And it's caused a big problem in Scotland. Do you just not worry about the law, or do you not drink? Do you not go out? So if you're in a rural place in Scotland and you want to go and have a beer, you have to go in a taxi. And if you're in a rural place in Scotland, you might get a taxi out, but you'll never get back home. So it's basically destroying Scotland. Well done, Jimmy Cranky, you fucking bitch. If you're up in Scotland, you'll know who I'm talking about. That woman has done serious damage that we're not going to get back from for decades. And her replacement lasted, what, 2 weeks? And then he got ousted. Just ridiculous. Anyway, this is interesting. This is a pale ale, and this looks roughly the same colour as the IPA that I had yesterday. It's really good. I better do a photo. I almost forgot to do that, didn't I? So there we go. There's the old thingy. There's the actual beer. And a cheeky face. I've got my cap on today, my choppers, because there's motorbikes on the TV. Don't want to give the game away as to what happened in MotoGP, but my God, it's going a bit crazy. And I don't think they're going to Spain. So who knows? It might end here, or they might do the same race next week or something. Who knows? It's going to be a bit bizarre. Anyway, on to this one. Interesting. Um, It's a little bit floral. It's a little bit lemony. That's not an aroma I get from any of these hops. Maybe there's a hint of tropicalness, which is, I would say, probably coming from the mosaic. Can't smell any green stuff. The peach that I usually kind of get from Cascade's not there on the nose. Very, very interesting. Before I get started, why not think about subscribing to the channel, doing all that kind of stuff. If you're still here, we're 5 minutes in. You must have liked what you've heard so far, so give me a thumbs up, please. Why don't you do it now while I'm taking my first sip? Cheers and beers. That's interesting. As I was drinking, I was thinking, wow, this is really smooth, considering there's no oats in there. But as I finished my sip, I was like, oh, no, it's not. There's not a creaminess there. There's just kind of that sweetness that you get sometimes from wheat. You know, like sometimes you get it in German lagers and Weiss beers and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a little bit more dry. It's not as smooth. It's not as creamy. You get a dry, malty kind of finish. And then, Franz Ferdinand. No, I'm not Terry Wogan. The juiciness of this beer kind of kicks in, and it is quite fruity, which is nice. It's mainly based around the tropical fruit, but I am getting kind of some of that greenery too, which is synonymous, I feel, with Citra hops. The Cascade, I think maybe the Cascade is getting kind of outclassed or outdone, perhaps, by both the Citra and the Mosaic is the top one in here. It truly is. So, is that because Cascade as a hop isn't kind of as in your face? I don't think that's true, because I've had some really hoppy Cascadey beers. But maybe they haven't put as much in. Maybe they've kept it in the background for whatever reason. Or maybe they've used the Cascade as the bittering hop, which traditionally you'd use Citra in that regard, but Cascade is a dual hop as well. Um, Interesting times. Not getting much. Yeah, not much head sticking on the side, which is weird. I'm not sure why that is. Oh, I have got a line there. Is it because the head's sinking down the glass, or did I? Maybe I swirled the glass. Shouldn't have done that, but if I did, I apologise. You know me, dear viewer. I just drink beers and review and talk a bit of old toot. You know, if you've watched my videos before, that's kind of what I do. That wheat finish is really cool. I'm really liking that. I think I said it the other day. There was a beer I had that was described as a pale ale, or a session IPA or whatever it was, but it didn't have wheat and it didn't have oats in it, and it was really, really interesting to try that style without those things present. And by not having the oats in it, it's really done something different that you don't really get. There's so much reliance these days in the new style kind of pale ale with both wheat and oats, and I think a lot of that is to try and smooth things out. Pardon me. Smooth things out, dear viewer, by using the creaminess of the oats to cover up or to fill in some of the cracks that might be there in the beer. A lot of people say that brewing a lager is one of the hardest beers to get right, because there's almost nowhere to kind of hide your mistakes. Um, it's kind of like a smash beer in a way, but the hops used are generally only for bitterness in a lager. Okay, there are some hop lagers around, but generally not so. So things like pilsners, to get them really super crisp, super smooth, it's really hard. Um, Alas, personally, I don't like lagers that much. I'll drink them, um, but a little bit boring for me. Um, Whereas pale ales can go in so many different routes, and this one being a wheat infused kind of pale ale, really, really interesting. If you look there, you can see. I mean, obviously you saw at the beginning, but you do have that kind of haziness, and that's purely coming from the wheat in there. And from what I have read, I'm looking at the Untapped thing right in front of me. Not Untapped. What am I talking about? The Beer 52 thing in front of me. All that's in here is some wheat malt and extra pale malt. So only 2 malts in there, which again is unusual. 3 hops and 2 malts. Mm. Yeah, really interesting. I'm getting kind of that bitterness there that I think is coming from the Citra, because I'm getting the green kind of the greenness, and the mosaic, the tropicalness. Um, Maybe those have hidden the Cascade, which in the old days when I started doing beer reviews, coming up for 15 years, I've been doing this on YouTube. And why not look at my old videos? Why not subscribe and you can look through the whole back catalogue. Um, Yeah, Cascade used to be in a lot of those old school, especially the West Coast kind of styles, and it was a taste, a flavour that you could really kind of pick out. Similar, I always think it's similar to East Kent Goldings in a lot of respects, and obviously I live in Kent now. Um, and the biggest irony is a lot of the beers around here don't have East Kent Goldings in them, and I live in East Kent. How weird is that? It's truly, truly bizarre. Um, but having Cascade in a beer like this, really cool. I'm liking it. It's just a shame it's not more pronounced. Mm. Anyhow, going into the new week, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Unclejona will return with another beer review, and that's coming up real soon.